Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna be doing random topics today. I just want to do like a quick thing so we can have fun. I just clicked on it right now. It says how fast do you read? Um, I'll start with that one. By the way, sub, like that kind of bullshit. Um, do that stuff. It helps the channel, helps it grow. I wanted to do this too because I just wanted to do kind of a stream of consciousness thing. See if you guys can relate to it. Maybe it's something I'll do more. If you guys tell me in the comments if this is something interesting that I can do once in a while. Just kind of look at random topics, share my kind of stream of consciousness sort of thinking, and then see if you can relate to it or if you can have conversations between each other on the Discord about it, whatever the fuck you want to do with it. If you think it's boring and stupid, just tell me it's boring and stupid and don't do it. If you think it's fun, whatever. It's just an easy format thing. If you hear music in the background, I have music playing from the posting here that somebody put on here. It's still got some chunk of time left, so it sucks because I had started already, but I didn't record it. I'm dumb, but that was kind of whatever. I kind of rambled on for like 20 minutes about some other bullshit topic. But I clicked on it again. So this is the first question. How fast do you read? Okay. So I read pretty quick. The reason I read fast is because I spent a lot of time reading as a kid. I wanted to read as many books as I could sometimes. Or I wanted to get through parts of books that I didn't find interesting. And I got pretty good at gutting books because of that reason. Because I didn't like want to spend too much time on any individual book that wasn't really interesting. If I find a book very interesting, then I read it a lot slower and I take it in. Part of the reason I probably learned to read fast as well is because I watched a lot of anime, even as a kid, a lot of subtitled stuff, subtitled films, foreign movies, growing up as a teenager. So, as you well know, reading and watching a lot of shit with subtitles, you just learn to read a bit faster over time. And then, yeah, that's about it. I read pretty quick because of my interests, and probably has to do with being the schizoid because you're by yourself all the time and you just end up reading. Next question: what is the biggest holiday for your family? For my family, not my extended, like not my parents. For my parents and stuff, I have no fucking clue. But for my family, I would say it's probably Christmas for sure. And that's probably the same for a lot of families. That's a tie between Christmas and Halloween. So I'm a little spooky dooky sort of fucking guy, and my kids know that as well. So they have fun seeing me get excited about Halloween and doing things like that. So I would say that would be the one. Um, Halloween in general is just really interesting to me because it's a time in which you can leave and you wear your mask, but it's not a schizoid type mask where you're faking what you are. If anything, you can be a little bit more of yourself. In my case, I could drop some of the facade and you know be a little spooky weirdo, and it's okay because it's Halloween. You get to be that monster that you hide from others. I find that interesting. Um, and you can revel in your shadow in the darkness just a little bit. And I wish I could do it all the time, but it'd be kind of strange for everyone around me in not so great ways. But Halloween allows for that, and I appreciate the holiday, and I appreciate its pagan origins as well. But anyway, next topic. What is the most disgusting habit some people have? Um, the most disgusting habit I can think people have is their inability to disconnect their ego or identity to their chosen decisions about their life, and about their politics or about their stance on this or that subject. The fact that they make their entire identity that thing or one aspect of themselves, they're like a super important part of their identity as a whole, is really weird. It's really weird. It's really fucking annoying habit that people that seem to have. They like to have like two or three specific aspects of themselves that, you know, make them who they are for whatever reason. I guess it's easier for some people, but I don't like that habit. There's plenty of other human habits that I find disgusting, but that's definitely one of the most disgusting I can think of. What kind of case do you have for your phone? Why did you choose it? Let's see. It's just I have just a black case with a magnetic back. I don't really use the magnetic back. I have the it has that little panel that opens up so you can actually prop it up. It's pretty cool if you're gonna use it for like porn and stuff, because then you can just like, you know, it's hands free, let's just say. So you know, you can get your hentai on. In any case, so I guess that's part of the reason I got it. It's got a cool little stand so I can watch stuff, and then it's sturdy. It's got a sealed front, kind of like an OtterBox if you've ever heard of those, which is pretty rad because then you know, if I drop it and stuff, and sometimes it happens, it doesn't get damaged. So I like my case. What's the best thing to do on a cold winter day? Um, I mean, I know it's cliche, but just curl up to a warm location, or wear warm clothing. So I don't like really going into warm locations. Like I would prefer to wear like layers of clothing that is warm and then be in the cold, so that I can still feel the cold on my face. And then drinking beers, like a nice beer that tastes good, or my kid. I don't drink so much beer anymore because I do keto, but um, drinking alcoholic beverages, and reading and having conversations about topics of interest outside in the cold weather, especially if there's snow or something. In those situations, it's pretty badass. And then just like, so if there's no one to talk to, just read, or have a handheld video game device and play some games and listen to some music and just enjoy the cold against my face. I enjoy that quite a bit. I'm trying not to like go on and on too long for about any subject, so I can go through a few of these, but I can talk about what winter represents. I can tell you about how it relates to me, how it relates to my coldness I feel. You can wax poetic quite a bit, get into some Robert Frost style action. Um, but let's move on. Let's keep going. Where did you grow up? I was born in Los Angeles. I grew up in various parts of LA, and there isn't much to tell. Well, there's plenty to tell, but nothing I want to get into now. It's just boring, to be honest. I find my past very boring, very kind of cliche in some respects as far as my trauma and things, because all I really remember memory wise is either the stuff I was interested in, like the topics of interest or the hobbies I was interested in, or my trauma. That's And then all the, you know, suffering that comes with not being able to connect with people and having problems with all that kind of stuff, and the ADD and all that shit. So the topic is just done to death, in my opinion. Growing up, but where? Los Angeles. What defines a sport? Is fishing a sport? How about video game tournaments? Mm, I don't really care to define a sport, but if you want to define one, I would say all those things. Yes, they're all a sport. Any event in which human beings are competing against one each other, be it brawn or brains, could be considered a sport. You're using physical as well as mental effort in order to achieve goals as either a team or as an individual, to compete again in a, you know, in an activity that the people watching it perceive it as interesting and important. So, does it require an external audience in order to make it a sport? I would argue yes. I think once you have a decent audience that wants to participate in viewing you or others participate in that activity that is competitive in nature, then becomes a sport. Before that, it's just kind of like a strange little quirky hobby or something you have to do amongst friends. That's my opinion. Uh, let's see here. What book has changed one of your long-held opinions? Man, what book has changed any of my long-held opinions? This is difficult because a lot of my opinions haven't, like a lot of opinions I've had are really long held. My opinions often shape and reform and take new places depending on new data and information that I receive, new ideas and concepts that I develop inside my mind. So I'm trying to think of an instance in which I had like a really long standing idea that kind of fell apart on me. Uh, that was caused by a specific book. Oh, I know. There's one very good book I can give you an example of. That was it's a well, it was a history book technically, but it's a really strange one. It was called oh man, give me 1 second. I'm trying to remember the cover. It had a skull on it, like candles and like food. It was something events. Hold on. This is gonna take me a minute. Enjoy the music for like a few seconds of dead air. Oh, of course, the music stops right then and there. It was a pun, I think. The name. Oh, it's gonna kill me if I don't remember what it's called because I really love that book. Uncertain certainties or uncertain things or uncertain truths. Uncertain, uncertain. I think it's or uncertain or uncertain consequence or truth or you know what? I have Google right here, right? Uncertain truths history book skull. No, it's killing me. It kind of looked like this, the cover, but it's oh, certainty. There you go. Dead Certainties by Simon Schama. That is unwarranted speculation. Oh man, that book. Wow. Okay, so what's cool about it? I'll just give it away. Fuck it. What the reason it's like one of my favorite books is because it was written by a historian who has done previous work on a variety of topics, and he's the type of guy that would get into a topic hard, like spend time and energy, all kinds of stuff, go into detail. Like something a good historian does. And I was studying history, and I think I read this prior to graduate school. I think right before, I think my last year before graduate school. And this book was amazing because what he did was he writes this kind of almost pop style history about two murder cases, and you read through it, and one of the things that's interesting about it is there's no citations at all in it. There's no citations whatsoever throughout the entire book, right? Um, and then he you read it and he says nothing about why the book is being written or the purpose of the book at the beginning. There's nothing in the introduction states anything. So you read through the whole thing and it's just kind of your interesting, provocative, run of the mill sort of murder case, not a mystery but like a murder type case history. And then initially there is very little connecting these two, but there's something there. But at the end of the book, what he basically states is that the reason the book doesn't have any what do you call them any citations and such is because the book is a collection of things that he studied deeply regarding the cases that he discusses, that he did have notes and various primary sources, but also mixed within the book is complete fiction or hearsay. So there's a combination of fiction as well as deeply, deeply researched history. But he wanted the reader to read it without knowing at all what is what. And by the end, he states that I can provide you all the citations for all the things that were true in this book. But the point, and that way you can discern perhaps what of these things is absolutely not true. But the point he was also trying to make was that, but even if I gave you the citations about the things that are true, what are the chances that as an individual, especially these particular cases, which were kind of a niche thing, how can you verify without studying the topics as long and hard as I have? How can you verify the truth of my all my sources, the truth of all my perceptions and interpretations of all this. How can you possibly do that? So thus it all becomes a lie of sorts. So that's why I love that book. It's incredible for that reason. Simon Shama. It goes into a few other things as well. But a lot of people might find the book itself boring because, I would say just kind of browse through it and then read that ending part, and it's mostly the idea behind it that makes it so powerful. Who would be the worst person to be stuck in an elevator with? How about the best person to be stuck in an elevator with? Okay, so the worst person to be stuck in an elevator with. Well, I think the worst person possible would be anybody that is highly emotional and unable to talk about subjects of interest without getting easily triggered or hostile or annoyed or crying or whatever have you. So someone like that in general would be the worst person. The best person would be probably another schizoid with a different set of interests than myself, like even opposite positions on a lot of things, and the ability to argue those positions, and also interested in topics that are similar but also very different, would be the best person to be stuck in an elevator with. What do you do when you're bored? Read books, play video games, lay there in bed, looking at the ceiling and imagining strange abstract things, developing concepts, making connections to things that I previously haven't, making new connections, various nuanced connections to things that I previously connected and now disconnected to make new networked views and perceptions and blah 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 blah. That's kind of what I do when I'm bored. But the normal stuff is the reading, the video games, and this what I'm doing right now. This is also very entertaining to me. If you could bring back one TV show that was canceled, which one would you bring back? Oh shit. Which one would I bring back? I would bring back. Let me think. Can't really think of anything off the top of my head. What would I bring back? Oh man, I got canceled. Yeah, I know all the nerds like myself out there are going, Firefly, Firefly, bring back Firefly. Or like a bunch of other shit, but no. Honestly, I can't think of a show as of right now that I would want to bring back. I would want to bring back the old 1990s Outer Limits. That shit was awesome. Yeah, I'll bring back the 90s, not the really old black and white, Twilight Zone era stuff, but the 90s Outer Limits was one of my favorite shows as a teenager, and I would love to see it come back, but with the same writers, if any of them are alive, because they tried to do Outer Limits later in like the early 2000s. That shit sucked with Forrest Whitaker hosting it. Oh my god, that shit was so trash. Horrible writing, horrible. But anyway, what do you fear? What do you fear is hiding? What do you fear is hiding in the dark? Myself. Always myself. My whatever the shadow, my Jungian shadow becoming out of control and me unable to properly maintain it because of external events causing things to deteriorate or fall apart. I fear myself in the dark. And the other thing I fear in the dark is arbitrary decisions being made by other human beings that would eventually cause not just my own demise, but those of other people I love. Do you text more or call more? I like calling more. Texting is kind of annoying. It's cool, but I prefer to have conversations. Communicates stuff back and forth a lot easier. Texting was probably more fun or better for me before I got better communication. But nowadays, I prefer a call. Just take care of it really fast. Do you have any pets? Um, no, but I've had pets in my life. I never got very close to any of them, to be honest. So nothing that I can really go into. I could talk about the idea of pets and how I would imagine a pet to be, or theories regarding why humans have pets to begin with, and they definitely go on and on about that. Which app seemed like magic the first time you used it? None of them. It's a fucking app. It's information being used on my goddamn phone. Like I don't understand like magic. Like it was so great. Like what app you thought was, oh man, it's so great. None. Not really. I enjoy more of my app games. I enjoy games on there um, more than apps themselves, I would say. What makes you nervous? This is gonna be my last one. Nervous. Well, the existential stuff used to make me nervous, but it doesn't any longer. I would say what would make me nervous now is, anything coming in conflict with my ability to protect things I care about. Those sort of things would definitely make me nervous. So my baby has to go to sleep now, so I have to go. So it's been nice recording. I hope you guys can give me some comments or ideas about if you like this format, if you want me to continue it, or in future iterations. I'm not going to do it over and over or anything. But once in a while, when I have like a quick time, something like this might be interesting. Just me rambling on about random shit. Just tell me what you think, okay? Thanks, guys.